Brief history. Islam splits. The Muslim world is not going to remain united. It goes through a catastrophic civil war that will forever change Muslim politics. This involves the murder of the third caliph, Caliph Uthman. He was one of the early followers of Muhammad. His election is controversial. Uthman is responsible for relocating the capital of the empire to Damascus, though it goes back to Baghdad when he dies. And in 656 he's murdered. A question lingers on the circumstances on this murder, and it proves the catalyst for a civil war. Who killed him? The next caliph is Ali. One idea is that he did it. Others say that it was his supporters who did it without his knowledge. Either way, Caliph Ali is tainted by this, at least to the supporters of Caliph Uthman. Around Ali's inner circle, that, in a certain way, the murder of Uthman was justified because he was neither close enough to the Prophet or his fancy living did not make him eligible to hold the office, and that his inheritance of the office by way of election tarnished the ideal of this religious succession. These two parties will break apart in an ugly civil war. Ali will hold the caliphate from the death of Uthman in 656 to 661, and he is almost immediately opposed by Muawiyah, the governor of Syria. He is part of the powerful Umayyad family. Muawiyah argues that Ali is either implicated or tainted in the murder, and Ali's supporters argue that Uthman was not a legitimate caliph. The civil war is over in about 5 years, but these are lines on which Islamic world forever after fragments. In about 100 years, this will turn into the Sunni and Shiite split. The Shiites grow out of the original group that were loyal to Ali, and the Sunnis are those who were loyal to the Umayyad family. In a certain way, this looks like a split in the Orthodox, but notice that Christian interfaith conflicts are doctrinally motivated. They come out of the questions of belief and the practices that grow out of belief. For the Muslims, because of the close connection between politics and religion, the Sunni-Shia split is a question of political legitimacy. For Sunnis, it should be somewhat divine. To be deputy of God requires a kind of religious excellence so that you can earn the office. Under this argument, Uthman did not have this. The Shias believe in the monarchical aspect, that the caliph is an office to be handed down through an appropriate chain of succession. So this is a difference of political philosophies. The Shias believe that the caliph is something like an emperor, an office that gets passed down. Some caliphs will be better than others. And the Sunnis say that the caliph is a much more spiritual leader. Therefore, they must be called and they must be worthy. This is the fracture that continues to break the Islamic world today. So what have we learned? The Eastern Roman Empire has been demoted greatly. Justinian could run around the West and do what he wanted. No Eastern emperor will have that much power again. More importantly, the Mediterranean used to be a big lake linking the Roman Empire. Mare Nostrum, as they called it, our sea. Now the Med is a real barrier. The southern shore and eastern shore is in Muslim hands, and the northern shore is in Christian. If someone were to go from Rome to Carthage in the year 400, they would see the same architecture, the same culture that they saw in Rome. Today, if someone flew from Rome to Tunis, they would be in a very different place.